Hey everybody, I just wanted to give my opinion and thoughts on how to help out for this new side quest that seems to be troublesome for some people. So, we'll just go fight by fight and talk about everything as it happens, and yeah, pretty simple. So, Howard the Duck, big things to know for him is explosive personality, rage, and matador. Reason why those are important have to deal with the global nodes. So for Howard the Duck, every time that they have a bunch of debuffs on them, and you can place debuffs by parrying them. And there are various different ones. There's like disorient, armor break, suppression, things like that. But every time that happens, you're building up debuffs, and once they throw a special, if they have 1, 3, or 5 plus, they'll get different effects. 3 being the special's unblockable, 5 meaning they go unblockable and unstoppable. So for this event, really important, debuff heavy champions are not ideal. And I show that here with Man-Thing. I've got a bunch of debuffs on this Howard the Duck, and you're going to see once he pops a special, boom, he's unblockable and unstoppable. Super annoying. Yeah, for this fight, you want a nullified champ or someone who doesn't hit hard at all. When I ran through, I actually did all of the Howard the Ducks with Guillotine 2099 because she's bae. And I didn't have to worry about him stacking up rages, so he never went unblockable. But here, this is a really cool thing. So this is the other part of the global buff. So if you have multiple buffs on you, if you have 3 or more buffs on you, when you launch a special 3, you'll see that at the end, I come out and I'm unblockable. And that unblockable does not go away. I think it's a bug. I tried reading through the global, and it looks like it's a bug, but it doesn't go away so long as you don't throw any more specials. So if you don't throw any more specials after you pop a special 3, while you have at least 3 buffs on you, and you can gain those just by dexing, right? Because you'll dex and you'll get the dex, you'll get the precision, and then an additional buff, whether power gain, armor up, whatever. But if you have 3 or more while you throw that special 3, you'll go unblockable. And that is super useful for, especially later on. It's, just incredibly, insanely powerful. So you'll see here in a sec, I think I pop another L3. And I actually did it because I was like, I'm going to show you. Once I pop a special, then the unblockable goes away. But I actually had three buffs at the time, so I'll still be unblockable. But then I'll pop an L1 right here. See, I only have 2 buffs, and unblockable goes away. So pop that L3 when you have 3 plus debuffs, 3 plus buffs on you, and you'll be unblockable for the rest of the fight so long as you don't throw any more specials. And Howard the Duck is easy peasy lemon squeezy, he's done. So next we got Gwenpool. I think I mentioned for Howard the Duck I used Guillotine 2099. For Gwenpool I used Dr. Doom. Gwenpool is kind of annoying because she's got that combo up, or combo shield, but you can stop her gaining the combos by intercepting. I did that a lot with Doom. But then also she's got Bane, and she's got Power Shield, and that polka dot power. So you want to bring someone who brings some sort of a damage over time debuff. And like I said, I used Doom. Here I brought in Hyperion just to show that my power gain, that I'm still gaining power with my power gain buff. And I also brought in Hyperion to show this interesting interaction, or a good interaction, of why buff heavy champs might not be the best for this event. So here I'm stacking up some Furies with my heavy, typical Hyperion play, right? Then I pop my L1, boom, they all go away. That sucks. I do gain an unstoppable, which is, I mean, it's not totally useless, but again, just not. I don't think buff heavy champs and debuff reliant champs are ideal for this event. But yeah, so here, Hyperion is actually pretty nice because his power gain helps gain the specials quicker. Also, yeah, I'm just eating some stuff. That's good fun. But with Gwenpool, you want to make sure to, you don't want too many debuffs on the opponent. So because of her Bane, it can be quite annoying. I originally used Nick Fury, and I just stacked up a bunch of bleeds, and then she'd pop a special, go unstoppable, and which sucks because then Bane goes off, and you can't parry her because she's got that defensive ability accuracy reduction. So ideally, use someone who can just use like 1 or 2 debuffs so she doesn't go unstoppable, and yeah, then you're good to go. So for Warlock, this one was a really fun one with Guillotine 2099. Because first you've got that tech attack boost, that 125% attack boost, really helped out. Another reason why Guillotine's really good for this is there is I forget what it's called, but that node where if you don't attack for a while, you get an armor break on you. And if you're using anyone if you're running willpower and you're using anyone who's not a robot or who isn't armor break immune, you are going to be degenning a lot. And in those later matches, that's going to suck a ton. Because that degen just gets super powerful. So you want to make sure you're using either a robot, or someone who's like armor break immune, or just make sure you're not running willpower. That would solve that problem too. So here you see again, this is actually really useful for this fight with Warlock. Because of his oscillate node, he goes into that turtling, whatever, turtle mode. He goes into Curtle the turtle mode. And when that happens, he just doesn't throw anything. And but if in this case where I popped the L3 and I had 3+ buffs on me, I go unblockable. I don't even have to worry about that. One other thing with Warlock, if you're comfortable evading his L1, ignore what I'm about to say. But if you're not, make sure you don't have someone who places more than 3 debuffs on Warlock. Otherwise, you'll deal with an unblockable L1, and that can hit pretty heavy on in the later sections. So Deadpool. This one is pretty simple. Actually, it's really simple. For this one, I actually used Aegon to build combo. Just because, it just worked out that way, and it was an easy fight. The only thing that I would say about Deadpool is, make sure you don't throw the same special twice in a row. Make sure you're observing his power as well, because every time you throw a special, he's going to gain a bar of power, and then at 50% health, he has the backup recovery, yada, yada, yada. But other than that, it's really easy, really manageable. Probably the easiest fight in the whole thing. Him or Howard the Duck, I would say. But yeah, so one thing I would mention, and it really starts to hurt towards the end. Since I was using Aegon, he would get this heal. I don't know what it's called, but where he heals, if he heals a certain amount, I degen that same amount, which really sucked with Aegon towards the end, just because I'd lose like 10% health for no reason. But you use Warlock or Heal Block Champ, and you don't even have to worry about it because he won't heal, and so you won't degen. So Mysterio. This one I used Dr. Doom for. And I brought in Mr. Fantastic for his armor break synergy, which worked out real nicely. You don't actually have to do that for this fight. If you keep parrying him over, if RNG's on your side, you'll land an armor break. I think there's only 3 possible debuffs you can place, so you got about 33% chance of landing an armor break. And when that happens, you don't have to worry about him building up. You don't have to worry about first his increased power gain. You don't have to worry about him building up his little toxic charge thing or whatever, so that you don't have to worry about the bringing a poison immune champ. But yeah, so I used Dr. Doom with Mr. Fantastic. I also used Aegon once or twice just because I was like, I just want to build some combo, out damage him, just bring him down quick. And both worked great. So yeah, I would, I don't know if there's actually much else I can say about this fight. It didn't seem too bad. But yeah, so all in all, for this whole quest, I would bring champs. So the team that I brought, I think actually works really well. The whole quest took me, for all 6 paths, it took me 3 revives. It took me 6 total because that stupid Spider Ham has this node where if you go down to 0 power, he deals like a crazy amount of damage. And I was like, okay, well, I spawned in and no damage happened. And I was like, okay, cool. And so then I started fighting or beating into him. And I think I was hitting into his block because after hitting into his block for like 2 or 3 hits, all of a sudden I died. And I got a little pissed, and so I just revived with a little L1 and went back in. Same thing happened. And classic, Alliance War hothead, threw in another revive. Same thing. And then I decided to read up. So when Spider-Ham holds his block, he prepares himself to evade, or he gets 100% chance to evade the next hit. And when Spry and Gast, those 2 nodes that he's on, if he evades, then you're given a fatigue and your power gets drained. And so that's why I kept dying so fast. And so instead I just once I did that, he was actually a really easy solo. I just used Nick Fury, I believe. Yeah, just Nick Fury. And he just bled him out super fast. So, again, all in all tips, or an overall status of what I did. I had Aegon, Doom, Mr. Fantastic, Guillotine 2099, Nick Fury. Howard the Duck and Warlock, Guillotine 2099 was awesome for. Gwenpool, I used Doom, easy money. So long as you're comfortable intercepting. I know some people aren't, so maybe not so easy money. And then Deadpool and Mysterio, I used Aegon. Mysterio, I kind of used a mix of Aegon and Dr. Doom because I had Mr. Fantastic for that armor break synergy. But yeah, other than that, it was a really fun event. I thought this was really well designed. It was a good challenge. Awesome rewards. My gosh. I'm actually a little pissed that I did it now. I didn't even think about this. But this side event and the next side event, you guys should probably save him for next week when they have that 20+% gold, whatever. Because this side event gives like 1 point some mil gold, and the other one gives, I think, like 1.5 or 1.8, something like that. So it's a huge chunk of gold if you can get it all. But yeah, so those are all my tips, guys, and I hope this helps somebody.